Hey folks, welcome back. This is Steve with Nonprofit Ally, and we are headed into lesson 4 of the How to Build Your Nonprofit Website in One Day. So we're going at a pretty good pace here, and so what we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to finish off that theme. We're going to start putting in some of that content we've been talking about. So make sure you have that gathered. You're going to need a photo, you're going to need a banner photo, a heading photo at the very top of your page. And you're going to need your mission and things like that. So as we go into this theme, the theme settings, we're going to be customizing some of that as well as putting in this content. So make sure you have that ready for this lesson.
Okay, folks, so we are at the stage now where we've already installed the theme that we're going to be using for our WordPress website. I'm going to go ahead and log in to my backend. And once I'm in there, we are going to start customizing this theme. Now, the thing with the themes, let me just go to the theme page here. So again, it's under Appearance. You see Themes. Go ahead and click on that. And you're going to see the themes that are installed. And here's Zarif, the one we already installed. Now, this was a free theme. So the ability to customize every nook and cranny of this theme doesn't exist. It's a free theme. Now you can buy the premium themes and then you can customize more colors and you have different pages and different features. But for a free theme, this one is really good. And so, but having said that, just know that hey, if you don't like a green button or a red button, you're not going to have a choice in the matter because this is a free theme. But the design is so nice. I think you're going to be pleased with it the way it comes out of the package. So to customize a theme, you simply go to your themes page and you click Customize on the theme that you want to customize, which is here. Or on the left-hand side, you can also see there's a Customize button there. Either one gets you to the theme customization page. Now, the thing with themes is each theme has a different way of customizing it, right? So this is a unique way of customizing this theme. Unique to this theme. So this left-hand side here is what we're going to be going through, and it's going to customize this theme for the nonprofit that we are creating. Now here's the most fun part. Right away, we're going to go down this list pretty much in order, and having said that, we're actually going to start down here with the background image because it's the one that has the most effect on the overall appeal to the site. The overall impression of the site is getting your background image. So there's a few things to be learned here, and just follow along. So go ahead and click on that background image tab down there. And the left-hand side here, you're going to see that there's this background image, matches the one here. And they have some settings down here, which we'll get into in a second. But we are going to remove this image and then change it. And actually, you can just click Change Image, and that will get you there. And what this is going to do, it's going to take you into your media center. Now, this is where you upload your photos and your PDFs and documents and things like that to your file, to your WordPress site. So up on the left-hand side here, we're going to upload a file. Now, I have some of these already made, so I already have my images selected. I'm going to go into my Select Files area, and I'm going to go into my header area, right? Now, I have a few different examples here. I just want you to see how good this theme looks regardless of the type of nonprofit you're working with. You can be working with at-risk youth, you can be working with children, you could be working with art or a historical society, and this theme works with all. We're going to start right away with just some children here. And actually, I can do some multiple clicks here. If I do something like this and I click multiple images, I can upload all at the same time. And for those who didn't know how to do that, if you hold down Control as you click things, you can select multiple files. So here are the images uploading, and as they get loaded, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use these children here as our first one, but we'll wait for this to upload. And so you can see if when you select them, the thumb over here changes to show you that you're going to be using this image in the document in your website. And we can just go ahead and say, choose this image. And so it chooses this image. This refreshes, and you get a preview of what the site's going to look like with your new header image. That's a really good picture. It's a good image. It's a good image. It fits really well with the theme. Now, if you scroll down, you're going to see there's an area down here where there's a transparent background, and that image comes through. right here at the bottom, right? And so it's kind of neat. So that image is going to be repeated in multiple places. Now, of course, that matches with the colors and stuff like that. But I just want to show you how this, if I change this image, and let's go with kind of like a runaway shelter, a shelter for runaways, urban city background. So that works pretty well too, right? So that's the versatility of this theme. Works out really well. And the image I'm actually going to be using, I played around a little bit. I am going to develop a site for a Urban Arts Council. And this is the header image I've selected. So I've clicked the image, I go here, I say choose image, and this image becomes the top image. Now this theme, if you're doing this, you're like, oh, my images are getting stretched, or they're too small, or they're too big. This theme actually recommends a size of your image. So if you have the ability to resize to these exact dimensions, I'm going to tell them to you now. Resize your image to 2048 pixels by 1365. So 2048 by 1365. That's the dimensions of this image here, and that's why it fits so nicely here. So when you get an image, make sure it's a large one, and you resize it to those images, 2048 by 1365, and you'll have a very good-looking image. At which point, you don't have to worry about these settings. The presets are fine, but you can play with the settings here and see what they do. I typically would not have my background repeat, and I'd align it center, and I would leave it at that. So once you're done with your background image, you found the one that fits in there, just go up here to this little arrow and click on that, and that will send you back to your main theme customizing settings, your theme customization settings here. So now we are going to start from the top up. Okay, so let's go into site identity. Click on that. This is the name of your website and the tagline, which I don't have one, but at this point I'm going to change my site's name to Urban Arts Council. That is the site I'm making it for, and that's fine. Now, if you have an icon that you want to use for your browsers and things like that, things that show up on iPhones, you can go ahead and select one here. Keep in mind they have to be square, and you can select the file there. I don't have one selected at this point, so I'll just leave it blank. And that's your site identity. And then you go into this part which says sections, order, and colors. Now, you're going to find that we click on this, you don't have the ability to do any of that. That's in the Pro, or what's called sometimes called a premium version of this theme. Right now, you don't have the option to customize any of your colors or how these sections line up. But that's okay, because it's still a very good theme. Your general options, let's go ahead and click on that. That's the next one down on our list. And in here, go ahead, we'll start with the top one, general. And here is where we can put your logo, right? So if you have a logo, make sure you do upload it, and make sure you know it's a good size. You don't want it to be a little thumb of maybe like 60 pixels by 60 pixels, but you don't want it to be a super large one either. So I already have one pre-made again, so I'm going into my upload files area. You can just follow along. And my logo is in my images folder. There's the logo for the UAC, Urban Arts Council. And I make sure it's selected. I go over here and I say choose this image, and it becomes my logo. And so this little preview shows it up here at the top left. There's the logo. All right, so we're not going to worry about the other settings. We're going to hit the arrow back. Under logo, you see it says socials. Now, if you have some social websites, if you're doing Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, etc., you can put the links to those sites here. Hashtags are just filler, right? They don't really go anywhere. That's why you see these hashtags here. But if you have a Facebook page, paste the URL here, Twitter, etc., etc. If you don't want it to show up, you can just leave it blank. Like we'll get rid of dribble. You leave it blank, and you'll see these Facebook icons, these social icons show up at the bottom of the page. I'm going to scroll down. You can see here at the bottom right, here's your social icons that show up. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and, so we have our social icons, paste those in there, hit the back button. And then it says footer, and that's actually this area down here where those icons are. You can see there's a company address here, a contact email, and a phone number. And we're going to go ahead and add those into the site. So if you go into footer, you're going to see you have these kind of blown out little icons here. Don't remove those because those represent these little icons here. We're going to keep those the same. Unless you have one you want to replace it with. But I like those, so I'm going to keep them there. Now here's a little bit of HTML. And basically what this is saying is that when they click on this link, and an href is a reference to a link, and the mail to right here where it says contact at, that's the email that if someone clicks there, that's where they will send their email to. So put your nonprofit's email there, right? I'm just going to put a hashtag in there for now since I don't have a email there. So we get a hashtag. It refreshes my page. Let me scroll down. So it's still there, but it's not going to email anywhere. And then where it says this part in between these little carrots, you can actually change that to, you can keep your email there, or you can change the word to this just to email us. It's not going to change where the email goes to, the link. It just changes the wording on the link. So let me scroll back down as that refreshes. It says email us, and in this case, it would email to a hashtag, but you can change it to your own email address, and you can customize those words. Let's go ahead and scroll down here where it says telephone number. This is some code right here, the TEL with the colon after it. Keep that in there, but get rid of this telephone number and go ahead and type in your own number. And I'm going to just make one up. Now that's the telephone number. This is the link, right? So if someone were to use their phone or Skype, this would link to the number I just typed in here. But notice that the number hasn't actually changed yet. That's because what's being presented on the front end is outside of those little carrots. So here I also need to change that. So make sure you don't delete any of those carrots, but go ahead and take that number out and then type in your own number. And again, the preview will refresh. You'll scroll down and you look down at the footer and there's the new number. That's fine. If they click on it, if they have Skype or something like that, it will call that number for them. And then there is the company address, right? Keeping the icon the same. This says company address down here. This says company address here, right? And so here's my company address. This is just made up. Now here's something I added in here because you need to have a little bit of HTML. So I'm going to teach you a real quick one. If I want my address to show up like this, here's the address, here's the city and state and the zip, right? And I go down here and I look at this in the preview. It doesn't show up there. It shows up as one line and it bumps down, right? It's because this is HTML. And so the way to break this line in half is literally to use what's called a break tag. So you use I'm going to teach you a very basic tag. And this is what I want you to put if you indeed you want a two-lined address. You go ahead and use your caret, which is it's your comma. You have to shift. It's where the comma is on your keyboard. And you're going to type BR space backslash, and then you close that. So now you have a break, and that's going to be a line break. And so with that little bit of code in there, I'll scroll down. You're going to see that I now have 2 lines for my address down there. And that's that, right? So now our footer is set with our location, our email, and our phone number, and our social media. Now let's scroll back up here on the left side, and we will go back to our, we're back here, right? So we've done general, social, and footer. We will go back to our main area with that back arrow there and move on down. So we are going to go into the big title section. The big title section, let me scroll up here in our theme preview. This is the big title, right? Which makes sense because that's a big title. So we're going to go ahead and click in there. And here are your options for your big title. And I'm going to go ahead and change these. My title, I'm going to change just to Urban Arts Council. Urban Arts Council. And then the red button here, these 2 buttons you have a little bit of control over. So I am going to change those red buttons to, the red one I'm going to call mission, so that when they click it, they go to our mission statement. And you can do the same. So type mission. And then the link to that, there's actually a section here for the About Us, I'm going to scroll over this and delete the red button link area. And what I want you to type in here is hashtag About Us, all lowercase, all one word. And so when people click on mission, it will go to the About section, which we're going to fill in later on. So go ahead and do that. And then they have a little bit of a typo in here. They said red button label here, and it says what's inside, but the actual button is green. So that's a typo on their part, not a big deal. That green button, we are going to make our donation page. So we're going to type in donate, and that will link to our donations page. And so our link in this, we're going to make a donations page later on in this tutorial. And in another lesson, we're going to go ahead and get rid of the green button link. And we are just going to type, without a hashtag, all lowercase, you're going to type donate. And like I said, we'll make this page later, and we'll make sure that these links work. So you can see your preview up here of your Arts Council. It's the Urban Arts Council. It has a mission button now and a donate button, which will go to the About section, the mission section, and the donate page of this site. Okay, so we are done with our big title area. So we go ahead and use the back arrow. And now it's time to go ahead and go into if we scroll down, we're going to go right down this page. So now we're in this featured section, right? And on the left-hand side, it says Our Focus section. That's this section, the featured section. So go ahead and click Our Focus. And again, you get a way to customize this. You can see that also in every section, almost every section, there's a way to hide the sections. So if you don't even want to use it, you can turn it off and this section will disappear. But we are going to use every section available to us. And if you don't want to use one, you can turn them off. So the title of this section is going to be called What We Do. You can see that will change. The features is now called What We Do. And below that, I'm going to have a subtitle, and I'm going to paste that in here. My subtitle is going to be, it's about art bringing communities together. That is the subtitle for What We Do. Now, you see that it's only changed the header, and you have these icons here with some information below them. These four sections here, these four little bits of information here, are done in something called widgets, and that's going to be the next video lesson. So right now we're going through all the custom settings of the theme, and then we're going to add these widgets in. We're going to customize these later, but right now we have this section done, so we're going to go ahead and use the arrow to go back. We're going to scroll on down to the About section, and that is over here on the left-hand side, the About Us section. Now, there are a few different settings here. You have your title, your subtitle, your big content area, your main content, and some skills features over here. And what we're going to do is in the settings here, we're going to edit all of these. In the setting area, go ahead and click on that. Well, actually, there's nothing below there except hide this section. So we're going to keep that on. Sorry about that. And we're going to go to the main content area, where we're going to change the About title to Our Mission. The subtitle, you can use a subtitle if you want, or you can just leave it blank. If you leave it blank, there won't be a sentence there. But I am going to let me scroll up here. You can see what's going on. So Our Mission, here's where the subtitle will go. And I have a subtitle prepared. I'm going to paste it in there. Scroll up. There's my new subtitle. Whoops, it's not good English. It is UAC was founded. There we go. That's perfect. And then we're going to what they call the big left side, right? This side over here. I got some content for there. Typically, I would find a good sentence that summarizes your purpose, and I would paste it in the big left side. And that's what I'm going to do here. So I pasted that in there. And so there's my big celebrating the art and culture of Seattle's diverse communities. This is a made-up nonprofit, folks. I don't know if there's a UAC in Seattle, but it is a made-up nonprofit. And then you have this text area here. So your text filler, that goes here. And this I would make your mission statement, or maybe an introduction with a mission in quotes, and maybe a little more information about you right here, so that people can go to your missions area. They can read about you, your mission, and your purpose. Okay. I'm going to leave the Latin filler in there because I didn't make up one. Now, again, you are going to need the break tags to make these paragraphs. And unfortunately, it's a big, long line of text here. But you'll see inside here, as I scroll through here, they actually have some break tags in here that they inserted to make it happen. You can see they actually did a double break. In any case, if you want paragraphs inside this text area, you use that break tag. Okay, so now we're done with this. We've done the title, the subtitle, the big left, and the text, the main content area there. We're going to go use the back button to go back. And then they have this featured 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is this area here. For my purposes, I don't need to have they're cool. I like them, but I don't need to have a skill area. And so the way to get rid of those, it's very simple. You just go in there to the featured area and you delete those skills and the percent that you just delete all that info. And when I go back and I scroll down, you'll see that they are now gone, right? Make sure they're all deleted. If you go in there, make sure you don't want to accidentally have content show up there. So go through featured 1, featured 2, featured 3, and get rid of all those, unless, of course, you can think of a purpose for them. And there's some, you get creative, there are certainly ways to use this feature. We're not going to in this example. All right, so those are all gone. We're going to scroll on down. You can see now our mission area looks like this. And then the last area here is called the clients area. If you click on that, it gives you, it's a widget. We'll go over that in the widgets. We're not going to use the clients area in our in this website, but at least we'll get familiar with it in the widgets setup area. All right, so I'm hitting a couple back arrows, and I am now. We are going to scroll down. Under the About section is our team. Now, the Our Team area is pretty simple. It is mostly done by widgets, so that's our next lesson. But we can customize what this looks like. So under About, we go to Our Team. And I'm going to change the Our Team, or I'm sorry, Your Team. I'm going to change that to Our Board, right? Because we're a nonprofit, so Our Board, or our members, or our staff, or whoever you want to put there, right? And then you can put a subtitle below there if you like. And I am going to paste one in there. And I have a subtitle in there. And so now if I scroll down, it's still loading. It's still loading. There we go. If I scroll down, our board, and then it says, we are a group of dedicated volunteers excited about our mission. So that's the content I just put in there. This is filler content. Obviously, this is no one that is on my board. And cool. So that is the Our Board section. And then as we go on down, we have the testimonial section. So again, here's testimonials on the site. Here's how we edit it. Testimonials is again what's called a widget. But we can change the testimonial, the title here. And that's what we're going to do here. So if we go to testimonial section, we can change testimonials to whatever you want. I'm going to say what people are saying. And again, if you don't want to use this section, you can just turn it off. Whoops, saying, by simply saying hide testimonials. But now I've changed that to what people are saying, and this is again pre-filled content. We're going to change this when we do our widgets. All right, and let's go on back. And it will scroll on down. Latest news section. Again, filled in by a widget, but we can change the title here, and that's what we're going to do in the latest news section. We're going to call this News and Events. So latest news title is going to become News and Events. And I will hit my back arrow and go back to the main area here. So if I scroll down, there's News and Events. And again, it's a widget, so the content will be filled in. We'll go over how to fill in that content in the widgets lesson. And our last thing is the contact area. So here's the latest news section on the left-hand side. We've been working our way down. We're going to go into the Contact Us section. And this part you can fill in, you can, of course, change the name. Instead of get in touch, I'm going to call this contact us. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to contact us. You can, again, call it what you want. If you want a subtitle below there, you could type in, we'd love to hear from you, or something like that. And then your email address, right? So the email address that you want people to contact. So when they fill out this form down here at the bottom, this email address is the one it's going to go to. And I'm just going to put a hashtag in there for now. And also then, before I do that, there's the send message button, and I can, again, change the way that says it. You could put send message, contact us, whatever you want. You can change what that button says. And then down below this does not have what's called CAPTCHA, right? CAPTCHA is that little thing you fill in that's kind of blurry. You can barely read it, and you have to match it in order to send an email. It's a smart thing to have. And in order to do CAPTCHA, you have to get a key. And the key is really easy to get. You get it from Google, and you can click on this where it says create an account. Click on that. It'll open up in a new window, and then you'll just type in the website address, and you'll get 2 keys. There'll be very long strings that you'll cut and paste. You'll have a site key and a secret key, and then you'll have a CAPTCHA that shows up. All right, and that is how you set up your email, your contact area down there at the bottom. All right, so this is looking pretty good, right? So we have some content that's missing, but we got our titles changed. There's news and events, what people are saying. Our board, obviously not our board. Our about section is done, right? We have a little history, our purpose and our mission. And then the what we do section, the area that features the certain things that we do in the community or that we provide, the services we provide, will go here. All right, let's go on back on the left-hand side here. Now, before we move on, there are a couple more things that we can add to this site that currently aren't on the site, but they are available to us on the left-hand side. You may have noticed a section called Ribbon Sections. Go ahead and click on that. When you click on that, you're going to have something called a bottom button and right button. Which are kind of misleading names because the bottom button is actually more towards the top and the right button is in the center. But regardless, go ahead and click bottom button. And the text here, what we're going to do, just go along with me on this one because the demo would completely explain what we're doing once we're done with this. So the text for this, we're going to create a section where it says something about how donating affects the services we provide or how it helps people. And then we're going to have a call to action button for people to donate. So I'm going to paste in some text here that I have for donating to this nonprofit. And then the label I'm going to say, it's going to say donate. That's the label on the button. It's going to say donate today. And then the button link, our donate page is going to be all lowercase DONATE. Just go ahead and do that. And as this loads up, you're going to see that we now have a new section on this page. So I'm going to scroll down. You're going to see right there, there's this green section right here. Your donation will provide some, and there's that donate button. So this bottom button ribbon is this right here. You know, I actually prefer it to be one sentence, so I'm going to change my your donation. I'm going to try to get this all in one line. Provides, which actually doesn't matter because it will change sizes according to the screen. But in any case, I prefer it to be one line, at least for this preview. All right, so there we've created a section, and you can see the background is in there too. It's kind of faded out. So that is what is called the bottom button ribbon, and that's where that shows. And let's go back here, click our arrow back, and then we have our right button ribbon. Our right button ribbon is a very similar thing. We're going to have an area that shows up kind of like this. And again, a demo is the best way to show you what happens here. So I'm going to put some text in there. And this is going to be a call to action to contact us. So I'm going to paste in my call to action to contact. And my label is going to say contact us. This is for the the contact button, and then the link to the contact page is hashtag contact, all lowercase. The hashtag is there because the contact page is on the same page as this. So again, here, I'll scroll down, you'll see where this is. So here's the one we did before, the donate button, right, with the call to action to donate. We're going to scroll down, here's the rest of our site, and we're going to see that now we have this kind of reddish orange. Interested in volunteering, taking a course, or becoming a member, contact us. And this button will scroll down to on the same page, to the contact page. So I'm going to click back to the main area here for our theme settings. But there, we've added the ribbon sections. So this is looking like a pretty full-fledged site. Okay, so that will wrap it up for this lesson. So before you close your browser window, make sure you save and publish what you've done. And that's simply going up here to the left to the Save and Publish button. Go ahead and save and publish, and then it will confirm that you have done that. And if you want to see what this is live, you can go ahead and hit the X button up in the top left corner. That will close the theme editor. You're now in the back end of WordPress, and you can go up to the name of your website in the top left. I'm going to right click and open up View Website, and I will get a preview. And so here's the site preview. You can see here's the things we added, like our logo, our title area, the what we do titles. Again, this section we will fill out when we do widgets, which is the next lesson. There's our call to action button, our mission area. Going down, here's our board, and here again is another widget area. These are not our board members. The testimonial area, another widget which we will complete. And news and events, which is posting your latest news and events, which we will go over in a later lesson. But boy, folks, we're really on the way to making one beautiful site. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next lesson. Enjoy your day, folks.